Hi, Democrats. Today is Thursday, April 6th, and it's time for the Chair's Daily Life. Happy Thursday. Another town, another day, and another technical issue. So thanks for hanging in there with me. Thanks for showing up. So glad to see you. So I don't know. Hoping our state legislators will not follow the lead of Tennessee state legislators. You know what? I'm going to start with that, and then I'll come back to what I wanted to talk about. Um, uh, Monticello mentioned she's afraid of that what happened in Tennessee might happen in Oklahoma. So for those of you who haven't been watching, in Tennessee right now they're going through a hearing to expel three of their state legislators who joined a protest that was demanding gun control, reasonable gun control legislation. They joined in that protest, and so now their colleagues are trying to expel them. And I think their colleagues are expelling them. Here's the thing, Monticello. Oklahoma started this trend. Oklahoma already censored in a serious way two of our legislators, right? Representative Marie Turner out of House District 88 in Oklahoma City, and Dean Davis out of Broken Arrow. First, I want to talk about Representative Turner. Representative Turner was had their committees taken away from them over a perceived slight, right? Some things happened on the floor that did not involve Representative Turner. Someone went to Representative Turner's office, and because that person felt safe to run to Representative Turner's office, they felt like that was a safe place. Representative Turner's colleagues decided to censor Rep. Turner. And all of that, Rep. Turner was not accused of a crime, wasn't charged with a crime. It was just that they felt like the behavior was out of line. I hesitate because we know how our legislators behave. There are legislators that are on the floor right now who deny Representative Turner their identity, deny Representative Turner just a mere, eye contact. That's wholly disrespectful. But their committees aren't being taken away from them. There are representatives on the floor right now that revel in and giggle at the fact that Representative Turner has endured threats against their life. But those committees weren't taken. So Representative Turner represents about 38,000 Oklahomans in committee, period. And in the three committees that they were a member of, there is not an opposing voice in those committees, right? Because it's mostly Republicans, and right now it's only Republicans since they moved Representative Turner out of those committees. We have run down what can only be described as authoritarian, where one party gets to decide. They get to be the final say. And if you voice opposition, they take your voice. That has already happened. It happened in a one-day, not a whole lot of notice vote on the floor. There's a whole hearing happening in Tennessee. But that's what happened here. And there was a lot of noise made about it. It made national news. And so when we had a second legislator get in trouble, get an alcohol charge. One was an actual physical control of a vehicle, and the other one was public intoxication. So we had a legislator get a public intoxication charge during session. And he had his committees taken. The two things are not the same. They are not the same. And it was so they could point at the second legislator and say, see, we call in our own, except there were two other legislators. They've been charged with felonies that still get to serve. It's not the same. It's not the same at all. But that's what's happening. And so if you're worried that what's happening in Tennessee might happen in Oklahoma, too late. It's already happening here. But that kind of puts me in line with what I wanted to talk about today. So thanks for that opening. Thanks for giving me an entree and a segue into talking about that. I, political news nerd that I am, had to turn off the news. I turn off the news in my house, turn off the news in my car, walk away from Twitter. I had to turn off the news because if I have to see 45's face one more time this week, I don't know if I'm going to be rational. If I have to hear the reasoning and the justification and the rating of the cases and all of that nonsense, I'm going to lose my mind. I remarked earlier this week to someone, I wish that our news folks would understand that we can follow more than one news story at a time, because it's like we follow one until we can't get any more breath out of it, and then we move to the next one and we kill that one until we can't get any breath. There is news happening all over the country. There is political news happening all over the country that we're not paying attention to because we're so focused on that attention hound that used to serve as president. Well, used to have the title as president of the United States. So I thought today I would talk about some other news. So Monticello took a little bit of my storm and by talking about what's happening in Tennessee, because that's a big deal. This horrible thing that happened in Oklahoma, which I felt like, oh my goodness, where are we going with this, is now spreading. It's like an infection, and it's spreading, and it's happening in Tennessee. Because here's the thing. The Oklahoma legislature was successful in stripping Representative Turner from their committees. And so other states were like, oh, there's an idea. There's a thing that we can do that will expand our majority. They can elect Democrats if they want to, but we're going to strip them of their voice. That's happening. It happened here, and now it's happening in Tennessee. And if it happens in Tennessee to the level that is going to happen there, I just anticipate it happening all over the place and silencing the voices of the opposition. And that is not good for democracy, little d democracy, not good at all. Back at home, I mentioned the legislators that had felonies. Gettner Drummond sent out a letter today. The Attorney General, Gettner Drummond, sent out a letter today. So I'm going to talk about this. Gettner Drummond is not a Democrat. He ran as a Republican. He has not changed his party. He is a Republican. And Democrats have been coming up to me, talking to me about how great Gettner Drummond is. And oh my gosh, he looks like a Democrat. And it's wonderful. And it's a good thing we have Gettner Drummond. He was elected, so he's there. And as my grandma would say, even a broke clock is right twice a day. So there have been some things. I have been grateful that he's been looking into some of these scandals that broke over a year and a half ago that nothing happened with. I've been grateful for that. But I've been cautiously grateful because I was waiting for that other shoe to drop. Well, today, another shoe dropped. And I'm not sure that this is a bipod. I'm not sure that we're not looking at an octopus or a spider, and there are a whole bunch of other shoes that'll drop. But the other shoe that dropped today was Gettner Drummond. Attorney General Gettner Drummond sent out a letter saying that he was going to drop the cases against Representative Terry O'Donnell and his wife. So let me remind you of who that is. Representative O'Donnell is out of Catoosa. There is a law on the books that says a sitting legislator cannot carry a bill or vote on a bill that will benefit their family, their immediate family financially. That is a law that's on the books, has been on the books. Representative O'Donnell not only authored a bill, carried the bill, and voted on a bill that would allow his wife to inherit a tag agency in Oklahoma. So two things. Not supposed to carry a bill. Oh, and there's also a bill that's a law that says legislators can't own tag agencies. I don't know why it's that specific, but that was a law. I say was because Representative O'Donnell was successful in getting that bill, getting both of those bills across the finish line. And so his wife was able to inherit a tag agency. That was a crime. That was a crime that was committed on the floor. Representative O'Donnell was charged with 5 felonies and 3 misdemeanors. And at the beginning of this session, Attorney General Drummond said that he was going to take that case away from the DA in Oklahoma County. This is important because it was the last DA in Oklahoma County who brought the charges. So our current DA had this as one of her cases to adjudicate. And the Attorney General came in and said, no, I'll take that. Well, today he sent a letter saying that he's dropping the charges. In the letter, he says, I'm not saying that what you did wasn't wrong. But I know that a whole bunch of other legislators are breaking the same law. And because we're not going to charge all of those other legislators, this looks like we're picking and choosing. So nobody's going to be charged. But, going forward, we're going to prosecute. So usually you would take the case and say, see, we're going to prosecute. This one, he said, we're not going to do anything about those 5 felonies and 3 misdemeanors. We're going to dismiss those because we want to send a message that if you do this, we're going to prosecute. That's what the letter says. So Terry O'Donnell and his wife get away. I won't say scot-free. They lost the tag agency in all of this. I'm sure that they've paid attorneys. And I know that I, for one, have been reminding people that he was charged every opportunity I got. So his reputation took a hit. He lost a lucrative business. And he paid an attorney. So I guess that's what justice looks like. I don't know. But that's a thing that's happened in real time here in Oklahoma. It feels like it's justice for some. That's what it feels like to me. And because that's what it feels like, that's also why we all have to stay aware and woke and active. We have to know what is happening and be vocal about it. Because I don't know that all of Oklahoma knows that if you're a legislator, apparently, a legislator or the governor's son, apparently you don't have to worry about the law because it won't be applied to you. You will get special treatment unless you're in the supermajority, and then we'll just strip you of your super minority, and then we'll just strip you of your committees. That's what's happening in Oklahoma right now. Those kind of seem big, but I have another big one. While we're talking about the indictment, blah, 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 ProPublica put out a story today where they pointed out that Justice Clarence Thomas and his wife, at least for the last 20 years, have been receiving, what are we going to call them? Gifts from an extreme political donor. Trips on private jets and cruises on large yachts and monetary gifts that nobody's recording. And as I watch the commentary from the right, they're just like, so what's the big deal? Rich people are taking vacations together. There is a reason why there are ethics out there. There's a reason why you have to track who gives you gifts, and it's a good idea not to take gifts because gifts sometimes come with strings. But Justice Clarence Thomas has been taking these private jet trips and these yacht cruises and the financial gifts and not reporting them, not recording them. Just take. but we are supposed to believe that they were just hanging out because they were friends, and it does not influence how he rules on the court. Got to tell you, I don't believe it, but there we are. Okay, so back at home, more than 80 businesses signed a letter to our legislature, to our lawmakers, asking them to please stop with the anti-LGBTQIA2S plus legislation. Stop attacking our LGBT friends, neighbors, and family. Stop attacking trans folks. It affects business. We've been saying it. Even the news has been wondering if it affects business. But actual business folks, over 80 companies, signed a letter and says, yes, it does affect business. When it affects people who want to bring businesses to Oklahoma. It is a big deal, and I hope that our legislators will take heed. I hope that they will understand that while they're getting brownie points with their legislative friends from other states, they are running business away from our state, that they are wrecking commerce in our state. It's a lot, folks. It's a lot. There is other news happening that has nothing to do with porn stars, New York City, Florida. There's news happening that affects us on a daily basis. And so I just thought I needed to take a moment and share with you guys. Take a moment and remind us why we have to be involved, right? I have nothing to do with the indictment. I can't influence it. That doesn't affect my life at all. But legislators committing crimes and getting away with it affects my Oklahoma legislators committing crimes and getting away with it affects my daily life. Oklahoma legislators having their committees, thus their voices stripped in our legislature has something to do with our lives. The fact that our toxic behavior is spreading to other states has something to do with our daily lives. And the fact that because so many of our bills are not constitutional and may have to go through the Supreme Court, the ethics of our Supreme Court justice has something to do with our daily lives. So I just wanted to bring that to you. It is important that we pay attention, that we be involved, and we make sure that everyone else is involved. So go out, check and make sure your voter's registration is up to date. And while you're doing that, think about a couple of people that you can register to vote. I won't be here tomorrow because tomorrow is Good Friday. I am going to observe Good Friday, but I will be back here Monday at 4:15. You guys have a great long weekend and pay attention to the news.